Hey everyone, welcome to episode 4 of Aquaponics Adventures. Today we'll take a little field trip out to Barriere and we'll check out the sewage reclamation facility there. I've had some visitors in the aquaponics room and I'll show you a short clip of those guys. The other thing I've been working on is the electromagnetic field detector, and I seem to have gotten all the components that I need now, I think, to get that going. So I'll spend some time here and finish up the soldering and see if I can get that thing working. It'd be nice. Yeah, I took a trip down to RTS Electronics here in Kamloops, and the guy there helped me out. I was able to find an equivalent chip to the one I originally ordered. Turns out the one I had originally ordered was a surface mount chip, and what I need is a DIP chip, which stands for dual inline pin, which basically means, I can show you here. Well, it's a bigger chip first of all. And what it is here, if you have a look right there, it's called a dual inline pin. So DIP, there we are, and that's the right size chip. It fits right into this surface mount here, or sort of this mount here. The one I had before, we call this a surface mount, and it's tiny compared to that other one. So the chip isn't exactly the same, but it's listed as equivalent. So that pretty much finishes up that project there. I'll solder it up and give it a try out, and we'll see how that goes. The other thing I managed to pick up while I was down at the electronics shop was a bit of shielded cable. So as you can see there, I've got a copper braiding around here, and that should keep out any electromagnetic interference that would come through. That's the hope. I have about 6 feet here, so I can put this on the temperature probe and maybe that will solve the problem. But first I want to see where the electromagnetic field is strongest, where it's coming from, and yeah, just kind of get an idea of the spatial orientation, I guess, with this little device I'm making. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, we're almost done with that. Just a couple more things to solder on there. Check the pin out for that new chip just to make sure it aligns with what the other one I was using would be. And from there on we can try it out, see what kind of electromagnetic fields we can detect. So next up I'll take you guys out to Barriere, and we'll take a look at what they're doing as far as water reclamation and their new facility there. It's quite the thing to see, so stay tuned, check it out. Hello everybody, I'm here in Barriere at the water reclamation facility. I thought I'd give you guys a quick tour around. It's minus 20 out there today with the wind chill, and what we're working on now is getting the foam insulation working throughout the facility. So what this place has is pretty neat here. Let me switch the camera around. Alright, this is a bit better angle. Yeah, so the way the foam works is it is generated by these devices up here on the roof. Down at the far end here, I'll show you. Just up top there. And what happens is it builds the foam up, injects it into the cavity between the two panes of plastic here. So it's a double-walled greenhouse. And as the foam generates, it fills up the walls all the way up to the roof, and that way we'll provide insulation to the facility. So it's quite an ingenious idea. You can change it as you need to. So for example, we could just do the north side, which is the plan for today because it's meant to be sunny once the sun breaks through the clouds there. So we'll leave the south side open and take in as much light as we can from that side. Meanwhile, the north side here, we hope to have full of insulation, insulating foam. So I guess with the cooler temperatures, the foam mixture isn't sudsing up quite properly. It seemed to have worked at about 70 degrees, Doug was saying, but we're down around 55 today, so it doesn't seem to be foaming up as it should. So we're going to increase the solution strength and see what happens from there.
A lot easier than the gallon gun.
Another issue they've been having here is dissolved oxygen issues. So right now these tanks have gone slightly anaerobic. So it's going to be a matter of bringing the dissolved oxygen back up to get these in a healthy state again. But that one's looking pretty good with the duckweed. There's some native grasses and whatnot put in there as well, and little floating nets. Alright, and with a quick check we can see we're up around 6.5 milligrams per liter of dissolved oxygen now, so turning up the aerators seem to have worked. So that shows you guys a quick tour around the water reclamation facility and greenhouse in Barriere. It's quite the cool thing they're doing there, and I've been volunteering there just helping out with a few things, trying to solve different problems as they get everything online. It's nearly completed, but not quite all the way there yet, so there's lots of work to do yet, so I'll be happy to help out and see what we can do to make things grow. Up next, I'll just give you guys a quick tour around the Aquaponics setup here at home, just to see how things have been, and meet some new guests. Alright, and I'll take you guys for your weekly tour around the Aquaponics garden. We're just going through a flood and drain cycle here now. I believe you have, if I'm not mistaken, oh, interesting. There were 2 reddish tomatoes here yesterday, but they seem to have disappeared. Oh, maybe it was just these ones that I was seeing. A nice bit actually. But I've had visitors recently, so I'm thinking they may have taken them. I'll show you some pictures of the damage. But, there's some nice tiny thin tomatoes, freshly harvested. Delicious. And that's the end of the flood and drain cycle. You hear the siphon ending. We'll get now. We filled up 3/4 of the way. They're draining from the second spout, and as the water level drops, it's going to bring oxygen down to the roots, and everybody's going to be happy. Alright, and the last thing I have to show in this episode is some of the eaten tomatoes by our guests. A couple images here, and I have a short little segment to lead out with, showing the visitor himself. So stay tuned for next week. I'll have more Aquaponics adventures.